Hello YouTube, this is Neon, and today I'm doing another episode of From Coping to Thriving with Life, in which I talk about my personal life and how I'm doing just that. And this too shall pass, and this too shall pass. A wise rabbi once said that this phrase is one of the most comforting phrases, perhaps the most comforting phrase in the Bible. The phrase, "and this too shall pass." When he was talking to us, I had attended this Messianic synagogue for a year consistently. When he was talking to us about this phrase, he said that someone interrupted and said, "Rabbi, what about the people in the Holocaust and the concentration camps? Was that comforting to them?" I thought that was a rude question, but I was wrong. Rabbi was like, "That's a good question." Wait, well, in a wise way, because you know how rabbis are really wise. So he said, yes, in fact, even in the concentration camps, "this too shall pass" was a comforting phrase. For those who would lose their lives, their pain and torment and torture would end. So in that sense, "this too shall pass" would be comforting to them in that sense. For those who would live to see liberation, they would have an opportunity at rebuilding their lives. So their pain and torture would their pain, torture, and suffering would come to pass. And of course, that would be comforting to them as soon as they reached liberation. I didn't get it when he said that, but he's wise, so I was like, I know he right. But I'm like, at that time, I didn't know how to apply it. Like, do I just go around saying, "and this too shall pass" all the time? I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this wisdom? Huh? So, when I was in Amway, I remember they talked about the suffering that one goes through for pursuing their dream. The bigger the dream that they have, the more suffering and the higher price they have to pay. And one guy was talking about it in this cassette, right, that I was listening to. And I can almost feel the tension because I tend to feel very, very scared myself when people talk about paying the price to achieve my dreams. And so he, perhaps sensing that tension in the audience, said, it's not going to last forever. Paying the price doesn't last forever. So I have found very much comfort in the phrase, "and this too shall pass." Or, as I like to say, it's not going to be like this forever. I'm not going to be lonely and single and broke, almost completely broke, on SSI, no friends, isolated, living an imbalanced life in that sense. It's not going to be like this forever. I'm not going to die on SSI. I'm not going to be poor forever. And it's true. I find comfort in that phrase. I find comfort in that phrase. Now, I don't say, "and this too shall pass," which I guess is Old English or something, but it's the same thing when I say it's not going to be like this forever. A lot of the things that I just said, they're not positive. My life's not easy. At the same time, there's great joy. There's gratitude for the blessings that I have, for the good things in my life. My life, it's not all bad. It's not all bad, or it's not all not good, if I want to speak in false positives, which is a better way to speak. But there's little things that I've shared before in my videos that really, they're huge things, but they're things that we normally take for granted, and these are things that I feel such gratitude for. Every 4 days, I cook this big omelet with fish and cheese and eggs, and this omelet lasts me for 4 days. And so the time that I cook it, it takes me like an hour, right? Because I cut up lots of vegetables, some chilies and garlic and all this healthy stuff, extra virgin olive oil, to make it. I call it a fish, what do I call it? A fish, cheese, and egg pizza. Because that's kind of how it's structured. But every time I finish one of these, there's a sense of gratitude. It's so healthy. There's a sense of, oh, I got through that. You know, it took me an hour, but it represents 4 breakfasts, right? Because the next 3 days, I just warm up what I made that first day. So there's a sense of gratitude for that. I got new vegetables that I add, which kind of keeps the omelet different. And I realized the omelet was delicious. I thought it was because I took longer to eat normally that particular day. But then I realized, no, it was actually because of the other vegetables. Different broccoli. So I don't want to get lost in the details, but there was a deep sense of gratitude just for having that omelet and having that food and having that variety of food and healthy food. For me, coping with life, using that phrase, and this too shall pass, is one of the ways in which I cope, and I go from coping to thriving with life. As I've said, it's just one ingredient to success. This whole idea of when I'm suffering, just knowing in the back of my mind or stating out loud, it's not going to be like this forever. It inspires hope. It helps me to be grateful and also look at the good things. Not to be afraid to complain about the bad things or to feel bad about the bad things, but to simultaneously, as sort of counterintuitive as this is for me, to also look at the good things and to feel joy and gratitude to the God of my understanding for my blessings and for the good things in my life. The things that, granted, maybe most of the time I would just take these for granted, and just being grateful even for the fact that I no longer just take them for granted. If success can be likened to baking a cake, it's important to remember that there's lots of ingredients to a cake. A person can't say, oh, I've got flour, that's the main ingredient, I've got a cake. Of course, they don't have a cake. All of those ingredients have to be put together in the right order in order for them to have a yummy, yummy, fattening, unhealthy cake. But they gonna eat their cake in temperance. I mean, in moderation. They not gonna eat the whole cake at once. But in order to have that cake, it requires lots of ingredients. So for me, success and coping with life and thriving with life, this idea of, and this too shall pass, or telling myself, hey, it's not going to be like this forever. It's not going to be like this forever. It's one of those ingredients. And it's an important ingredient. It's an important ingredient. So it shouldn't be looked at as, oh, that's going to solve all my problems, because life is not. Life is changing, and it's vibrant, and it's dynamic. But this is a principle that is helpful. So there's no quick and easy ways for me in my life to try to solve all of my issues with one little principle. But I am grateful for this principle, and I'm grateful for finally understanding it and being able to apply it to my life. And like I said, even when I'm feeling bad and I'm not feeling happy and I'm depressed and all of these things, I can still say, I know in my heart it's not going to be like this forever. And I don't think it's going to end when I die, right? I'm progressing, so I believe that I will come to a much more healthier, fuller, as well as balanced life. So it means a lot to me, and it's one of those little ingredients that helps me get through life. And who knows, maybe it can help you. Because you rock, you gorgeous, you smart, I hope you subscribe, and you is my friend. You can also like, share, watch a commercial, make a comment, or recommend my videos to one of your friends. Thank you. Best wishes.